Hey y'all, Rhonda here. All right, Tim Holtz and chickens. What do you think? I'm making a card for a friend and I started messing around. So I have this stamp by Woodware, Clara the chicken. So that's Miss Clara. And I stamped it and I was just playing around and I thought, well, I'll just do just do colored pencils. And I started messing around. Well, they're watercolor pencils, which, you know, you can use them as just pencils or watercolors. And I kind of liked the way it was going, but I just stamped on regular cardstock. Well, if you're going to watercolor, you need watercolor paper because it's just not, you're not going to get the desired effect that you want. Plus, it's going to bubble and you can see, you know, the water just warps the paper. It's not made for water. So like I said, this was just plain about 80-pound cardstock. But I kind of like the way it was going because Clara is just, you know, marching to her own beat. And then I thought, well, let's just go ahead and do watercolors. Let's just do Tim Holtz watercolor pencils and see where that takes us. So I'm going to use this kind of as a reference. Like I said, I was playing around. So I have watercolor paper. I have Miss Clara, the chicken stamp, and we have Tim Holtz watercolor pencils. And I really need to put these, they're in order as far as release. And I really need to put them, you know, the blues with the blues and the reds with the reds. It'd just be easier to kind of figure things out. So let me do that before we get started. Okie doke. So much better, right? I think so. Be a lot easier. And I even turned the pencils around where I could see the names. So, and I know on the back side, you know, you have what it is, but it's my pencils. The Tim Holtz police is not going to come get me. It's whatever works for you. So there. All right. I used to be one of those where they had to be kept just like we got them, you know, just anyway, I'm doing much better. All right. So let's stamp Clara. Is it Clara? Yep, Clara the chicken. Excuse me. So we're going to use a stamp positioner. And we're going to use Versamark. No, Versafine. Versamark is for the heat embossing. So we're going to use Versafine in black. And that's what you need for watercolors. You could also heat emboss it. You know, if you wanted a little ridge around it to kind of contain the ink, you could sure do that. Okay, there's a bumpier side. I don't know if you can see. There's kind of a bumpier side and a smoother side. And am I an expert at this? No, not in the least. We're just going to go for it and pretend like we know what we're doing. The main thing is have fun, right? I mean, yes, there's certain ways to do it. And you know, I didn't hinge these either. I didn't use my packing tape and hinge this. That's why it's all off and crazy. And so I'll have to do that. I'm slacking here. All right. So I need to be kind of careful because she had, you know, I stamped her before. So there's a little, even though when you wipe it off, there's still a little residue on there. So we need to try to put her down where we want her and try not to move her too much, because we don't want the ink everywhere. All right, press that and pick her up. Make sure there's no air bubbles. And let's ink her up. Love Versafine. Love Versafine Claire. They're fantastic inks. Very clear and crisp. And I believe the Versafine Claire even is a little crisper. You know, like those red rubber stamps that have lots of details. I'm going to use my little hockey puck here. Anyway, it brings out those details like you would not believe. Okay, let's press her down. And she's a little light in some spots because the paper's a little bumpy. So let's ink her up again. Anyway, I just thought she's a little sassy chicken. She doesn't need to be chicken colors per se. Let me do this a little bit. She's a little stylized. She's a little artsy. You know, she's a little sassy. She's a little kooky. So that's what we're going to do. much better. Get this right here. I like to hold it for, a couple of seconds just so it can kind of soak in there. Much better. I think I'm going to do it one more time. Sometimes you have to be careful and not do it that third or fourth time because you'll get a halo. Okay, we're going to do it one more time because I just want it a little bit darker. And like I said, it's, if it was just regular cardstock, you wouldn't have this problem. And if we stamped on the other side, we probably wouldn't have this problem either because it would be much smoother. So we'll go over some of those little problem areas. Like this. Too bad I can't have chickens. I mean, too bad we can't all have chickens. And a cow and a goat. With the way prices of everything. I do have a lady in the neighborhood that's my chicken lady. Her family has a farm outside of town and they have chickens. And so I get some beautiful, I would call them real eggs. Anyway, chicken, eggs from the farm. And oh, they taste so good. All right, I think that's going to do it. Do a little bit here. All right. She's good. She's good to go. All right, and I'll hit this with my heat tool just to set it. Make sure it's set really well. Put that to the side. Oops. And I was thinking, too, this would be really fun on black. Magnets are sticking. Oh, my magnet's stuck. Oh, that's funny. Okay, I have to remember they're there. On black paper, watercolor paper. These won't work because they're going to disappear. So you need watercolors that are going to set on top, like your metallics and things like that. And we may make her a fancy chicken. I'm just saying. Okay, so I have paintbrushes, like I know what I'm doing, all sizes, shapes. And we have a little bit of water here, one for dirty and one for clean. Get that out of the way. All right, let's get those back. So we're going to do a little bit of coloring. Let's start up here at the top. And like I said, I'm kind of using this one for a reference because I like those colors, that color scheme. Just a little different. And I actually went online to Tim Holtz or rangerink.com, whatever it is. Or you can even Google, let's say, oxide ink swatches or labels or whatever, and it will come right up. And you can go and it's a PDF file. You just download it and you print it off on whatever kind of paper you want. And it's the little squares and all the names. So then you can either ink up the little squares or make a check mark saying that you have them. It's really handy to have, if you're slowly collecting the different colors. So that way you don't buy extras. So anyway, I went and did that. I just haven't swatched them yet. All right, so let's start with breaking the, what do they call it? Breaking the palette or something. Anyway, just getting started. Let's go with peacock feathers. And we're going to cut, oh, I was going to hit it with heat tool just to make sure. Hang on. Getting ahead of myself here. Just a little quick, just to make sure the ink is dried really well. And then if your paper starts to curl a little bit, no big deal, just turn it over and hit the other side, and it will flatten right out. All right, so that should be good. Just kind of make sure that it's dry. You can put it, you can tape it to a board, whatever makes you comfortable. This cleans up really easy. Or if you're just working on a Tim Holtz glass mat, it's great. You probably want to put a few little pieces of tape to hold it down. This is one of those where it doesn't move, which is great and not. Because when you're trying to pick something up, a lot of times it won't let you. But anyway, for something like this, it's good. All right, let's try. And remember, it's just paper. No big deal. Right? Oh, pressure. All right, let's do a little bit here. And we may use the other technique that I think works really well and maybe even better. Just go down this way a little bit. Is where you take a wet paintbrush and grab grab some water, wet this, grab the paint, and then take the paint down like that instead of putting it down and then wetting it. So we may be doing that to add a little extra oomph. But let's just start like this and see where we go. And I'm not going to make you sit here in real time and watch me do all of this. Candied apple fire brick. Should be an orange spice marmalade. Isn't there a barn door? I thought there was more of an orange. I'll do spice marmalade. I'll do a little bit here. A little bit there. Okay, and then we're going to work on the plumage a little bit. Let's start with, let's see, kind of a light pink. Let's do the Kids Flamingo. I'm going to go in here. Is that going to be... No, that's not going to be dark enough. I need a little swatch, because I know it will be darker once we wet it. Let's go over this with the raspberry. See, that's not even showing up great. Okay, let's go up here and do a little bit here. Sorry if I'm shaking you. Okay, and then let's do, what is this? Seedless preserves. I get a little crazy here. We'll see what this does. And you don't, with colored pencils of any kind, you don't want to just, you know, if you want it dark, you don't want to press really hard to go over it. Do it in layers. So just light layers and just go over it a couple of times. And let's do candied apple fire brick. Let's do some crackling campfire. I know, she's sassy. She's flamboyant. She's colorful. All right. Now let's wet this and see if we're making any progress. If not, we will stamp another one and do something different. All right, let's wet this. Oh, I need a towel. I need a towel. Here we go. Little towel over here. I don't want it too wet. Blend that out. These are so cool. And yes, these are actually different from other colored pencils. Let's see. We'll use this one for the dirty. Let's do a little bit of the orange. See how the colors come to life? It really makes a big difference. Really pretty. Let's go down here a little bit and see what this does. I love it how they just dance and come to life. Yeah, very pretty. The color is not necessarily my coloring, my painting, but the colors. All right. And then I'm going to come down from the top into the bottom. So I don't want to make mud. I'll bring that color down. Cool beans. I like that. And then you can dry it, layer it, add more colors. Anyway, I'm kind of liking how this is turning out. Let's do a light gray and see how. Let me get a bigger brush here. Let's just go with this one. Gray. There is hickory smoke. That is black soot. Let's go with hickory smoke. One complaint, these are a little difficult to get out of there. All right, so clean water. And then what I'm doing is just taking the water, getting that wet. Doesn't look like we have much on there, but I bet you there's quite a bit. Let's just start right here. Very pretty. Look how smooth and gorgeous that is. I likey. Likey, likey. Can add a little bit here. You can always take away, add. Oh, look how pretty and smooth that is. Try not to let my brush get too wet. Oh, very pretty. Okay, I'm going to set that because that's still pretty wet. Let me rinse this off, and we're going to add a little blue here, a couple of blues, and then, like I said, I'll speed this up so you don't have to watch all this. I really wished I had these swatched out because it would sure help. Prize ribbon. It's going to be too dark. Salty Ocean. And it takes a minute to kind of pick that up. Ooh, there's a lot. I probably should have got a smaller brush. And it just takes practice. I mean, Lord knows I am no pro, don't claim to be. I know there's going to be some real artists out there going, no, don't do that. I do have a real artist friend, Miss Donovan. She, local here, oh God, she is, Carolyn can sing like nobody's business. I mean, I would be a stalker. Let me tell you, I would, if I lived in that house, she would just be singing all the time. I'd be like, sing, sing, sing. Bluesy. Just, oh my gosh, just a talented, talented lady. Anyway, she does watercolors. She's a paper crafter. She's a singer. Anyway, I need to go take some lessons from somebody real that really knows what they're doing. Maybe one of these days she will teach me a thing or two. All right, let's go with this prize ribbon. At this. Like I said, if it's too dark, then you can just rinse your brush out and then take some of that color away. All right, well, I'm going to continue to play and make an original piece of artwork here for my friend, and I'm sure however it turns out she's going to love it because I made it, and it's special. I took the time, and and that's what's important. I mean, it doesn't have to be a masterpiece, and don't get mad and throw it away. I mean, you can always keep working with it and fix it, or just stamp it, redo it. But you know, when it's from the heart and it's handmade, that says so much. So I'm going to keep playing and see what we come up with. joke like you hear. Okay. I mean, I like it. I am no artist, believe me, but I was playing and having fun. So just check this out. And don't be foul. Is that really bad jokes, wasn't it? That's like bad dad jokes. I know. But anyway, I started playing and I was coloring, you know, like you would color, I don't know, you know, where you shade and this and that. And then I got to flicking a little bit, you know, taking my paintbrush and I loaded it up pretty heavily. And then, you know, just started doing a little bit of that. And, you know, it's kind of like feathers. I mean, I like it. So that's all that matters, right? I was going to matte this because I'm a firm believer in mattes because I think it just makes colors pop. You know, you could use red, you could use yellow, you could use blue. But this paper is so thick. You know, it's the watercolor paper. And then if I used anything to matte, no matter how thin it was, it's just going to be a hunk there. So I'm going to just ink the edges a little bit, just blue. So give it just a little something there. I'm a big edge inker, you know, from my junk journals and all of that. So doesn't look like much now, but then when you put it against the white of your card base, then it pops a little bit. Let me scoot you down. There we go. And then see how it pops. I likey. All right, let's, this is going to be a short one, so let's get some score tape here. Let's see, what do I want to use? Decisions. All right, good old score tape. Let's see. I'll go down on either side like this. Plus, this will help keep it straight because, you know, they do have a tendency to curve a little bit because of the water. So this score tape will keep it down. All right, burnish that really well. Make sure that your card opens like it's supposed to. And why do I do that every time? Because I just do. All right. Because I put it on there wrong. Incorrectly. All right. We're going to peel a little piece of that down. The carrier. Maybe. Excuse me. And we're going to line this up with the eyeball measuring method. And see if that looks pretty good. And then push that little corner down that's exposed. Now it's not going anywhere. So pull that out. Burnish that down. Still not going anywhere. And then you can remove this middle piece. Where's my pokey tool? Pokey tool. Oh, there it is. Excuse me. Oh, now come on. There we go. And this one. Usually if you go down a little bit instead of work right here on the end, if you start down here a little, it'll come off much more easily. Much easier, Lily. All right. My mother-in-law would love that grammar. Okay. Original art by moi. And then on the inside, we're just going to do a little stamping. Can't believe that I still haven't hinged this. Excuse me. I don't know if I told you. Yeah, see my little thumb there? I know. I got a band-aid over here. I love my new ninja knives, but Lord have mercy, they are sharp. And I was just washing them, and I looked down here, and I mean, I'm bleeding like you wouldn't believe. I'm like, what in the world? Didn't even know I got cut. Finally got that stopped, and then I was doing something else, and my thumb was a little sore, and I looked down, blood everywhere, and there's no, it's already scabbed over, so don't panic, no blood to share here. But you know, when you get little pricks on the end of your finger or hangnails, you know how sore your fingers get. Ugh. Anyway, love my ninja knives, but man, oh man. Okay, well, what am I doing here? Oh, I need a block, stamping block. Let me go down this way. Oh, let me reach. Okay, come on. All right, so we're just gonna do a little stamp in the middle here. And this one says, I'm just chicken in, or I'm just chicken in on you. Which one is it? Just chicken, so it goes this way. So line that up a little bit. Press that down. And hope for the best. All right, we'll just use our good old faithful VersaFine. And we'll ink this baby up. You know, I always say, when you have a new stamp, ink it up and stamp it on scrap paper, because usually there's a residue on there and it doesn't like to stamp well the first time or two. But with Diamond Press, I'm here to tell you, it does it perfect every time. Hope I didn't mess that up. Don't mess up. So I always like to hold it for just a uno momento and let it soak in a little bit like it's supposed to. All right, straight up. Look at that. That's beautimous. All right, I'm going to wipe that stamp off a little bit. Put that to the side. And we have ourselves a work of art. So there you go. And then on the envelope, I will probably stamp a few of these little critters on there. Or maybe even the little part of his face, her face, you know, just peeking out a little bit. I always like to do something on the envelope. But anyway, all right, well, like I said, this is kind of quick and fun, and you know, I'm just chicken in on you. All right, well, if you have any questions, constructive criticism, I'll take it. But like I said, no artist. I am not just, it's just all about fun. You know, come on. All right, well, until next time, bye for now.